Hey everybody, GoodData here reporting live from Austin, Texas for Data Council Austin. And with me today we have Ryan Dolley and Soubusta. We just got out of a session called WTF is an analytics lake. And so we want to recap that for you here today. So guys, great session. And I guess I'll just reiterate, what did we learn in the session? What the F is an analytics lake?
So should I start?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I was the presenter, and the hall was almost full, the room was almost full. There were questions in the end, which is always great. And I think I explained in very detail what the hell is the analytics lake. So do you have any questions?
No, well, so what it is basically, this concept of an analytics lake, you might ask yourself, why do we need another one of these things? And the reason is that there's this set of problems that I think we're doing a bad job solving as an industry that relate to actually preparing data for consumption by other people. And so the analytics lake is really a combination of technologies that we've put together at GoodData, open source technologies that we're using for kind of data transformation, materialization, and then ultimately presentation in one layer. So you have one place to go to find data, whether it's a data transformation that you want to use, or whether it's a report you're looking for, or a visualization, all in a single system. I think from a high level is how we'd summarize the analytics lake. Now my question for you, Jacek, is tell us a little bit about the technology behind it. What are we using and why?
Yeah. So I would split analytics lake into two parts. The first part is what physically has to happen with the data under the hood, the physical execution. And for this part, we created a new component which is called Flex Query. And it's actually powered by an engine which we call Longbow. And this engine is GoodData agnostic. So we will be happy if anyone approaches us and talk about even potential open sourcing of Longbow. And what has to happen with the data is basically you have to crawl the data from data sources, and then you have to transform them in various ways. And for that, we use Apache Arrow. That's okay. For that, we use Apache Arrow framework. And for the execution on top of the data, we use DuckDB database. And to make it, let's say, more intelligent, we extend it with the semantic layer. And semantic layer plus Flex Query is the analytics lake. Yeah? And the semantic layer tells you much more about what the data, what is stored in the database, what are the relationships between tables, data sets, if anything is fact or attribute, and so on. And this helps us to generate more optimized queries and do more intelligent stuff with the data, basically.
Awesome.
Let me ask another question here. So during the presentation, I also learned that as part of Flex Query, there's something called a Flex Cache. Can you explain what that is and why that's important to the broader Flex Query and analytics lake concept?
Yeah, I can start with the why it's important, and then Jacek, you can get into the what.
Sure.
So the why is really just boils down to performance and cost savings, right? It's super high performant cache, so your end users get faster dashboards, faster query response times, faster everything. And because we're very intelligently caching these responses from your underlying data architecture, what happens is we're able to prevent a lot of query load from reaching your Snowflake or your BigQuery or whatever it is that you're using under the hood, where you're kind of paying for all of these, all this computation. And so, why do you want it is really performance and save money. Now, technically, how it functions is what Jacek can cover.
Yeah, so technically, they are arrows, yeah. So arrow format is currently the best format for in-memory processing and for exchanging large data volumes across the network. So once we crawl the data from data sources, we automatically store them into the flex cache in a form of arrow tables. And then any operations like transformations we do on top of them, so they are usually zero copy operations, and that's why it's so fast. Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
There you have it.
So I guess if you had to sum it up in terms of business value, how would you kind of the analytics lake and flex query in a line or two? What is the what is the value for the business?
Well, that's hard. We just did a whole 45-minute presentation on it. I think my take on it for business, maybe you can tell what the value for developers is, right?
Yeah.
But for the business, I think the value of it really boils down to the speed, both in terms of the experience and also the speed of delivery for building new analytics are both greatly enhanced with Flex Query and the Analytics Lake. And then the other thing is efficiency, both in terms of how it's computationally efficient, but it's also really increases the efficiency of your analytics as far as what you're going to pay for them, which I know from a business perspective is really important.
Yeah, I think we are talking about a safe environment. So users can obviously combine that data in many ways, and they can do it in a wrong way very easily. And the semantic layer is so important because you define what you can combine with what just once. You create curated environment, and then business end users can be fully self-service. So yeah, that's definitely huge business value, and performance, as you said. So we all saw so many times spinning wheels on dashboards, and Flex Query should solve this problem. And we are evolving it rapidly, so we are pretty sure. We are even thinking about science fiction use cases like to embed DuckDB into browser, which is currently possible, and do some hybrid executions between Flex Query and the browser. And there we are talking about even completely new user experience, like cross-filtering with 60 frames per second, and so on. That's possible. I saw even some demos, but make it production ready is the different story.
Right.
And that's what we sooner or later will do.
Yeah. I like that science fiction use cases. That's what we aim for. We aim to make science fiction use cases reality here at GoodData.
I fully agree.
Cool, guys. So outside of Flex Query, now that we know what that is all about, any thoughts about Data Council in general? Any interesting things you've learned, or just any parting thoughts about being at the conference this week?
Yeah, so just a few minutes before we started this live stream, I talked with people from Satori company, and the discussion ended up with an idea how to create a new compliance data service in Flex Query. So on top of the report result, you would apply some compliance policies, and you would deliver data only to people who are allowed to see those data. And we met many other people, like I met Tino from MotherDuck. We are almost friends now, I would say. And we have huge plans related to their GA and related to how we could cooperate on highly multi-tenant environments, because they are going to create some first-class support for it. So many interesting people here, and always feedback is so valuable for us.
Yeah, I think I would second the many interesting people. I mean, a lot of the conversations I'm having, this is a great conference if you really want to have conversations, I think, with people who are pushing technology in the data space forward. That's what I would say, right? It's really focused on that. And so the presentations are all about that, like the keynote this morning about data mesh. I mean, anybody who follows me on LinkedIn knows how much I like data mesh and that sort of thing. It was fascinating. But everything here is really about pushing data technology forward, more so than I would say the other conferences I've been to. And I really appreciate that about it.
Cool. Thanks, guys. So I guess that wraps up our live stream from Data Council Austin. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will see you around.